Hello, and welcome to the Rewired and Radiant podcast. I'm your host, Carissa Lee, and this is the space where I'm sharing all about my life, my journey through motherhood, building an online business, how to become more present in my own life, and all these things in between. I'm really hoping that as you listen to my story, it can help you maybe unlock some things in your own life and provide some takeaways for you to actually apply some things into your life so that you can show up as your most radiant self too. On this journey currently, of finding my new radiant self, it is a lot of identity work. So, last week I talked about the battle between identities. And even in that episode, I kind of unlocked this concept, I guess, of when you are shifting identities, when you're in the battle between two identities, in a way that means that you are sitting in the middle of an ego death. And so I figured for today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about my viewpoint of an ego death and why ego deaths are so important when it comes to up leveling or shifting your identities. Because if you don't have an ego death, those old habits, they're going to stick and they're going to try and hang on to you as you're shifting into this new life, reality, identity, whatever you want to call it, the up level, the quantum leap. They are all so similar. And the ego death is what has to happen for you to fully shift into that new state of self. So if you found this podcast, there is most likely a chance that you are struggling with one of these, or you are seeing the vision of the future you. There are these ideas that you have, places you want to go with your life. You know that there's this identity work that needs to be done. Well, within that identity work, you also have to have the ego death. So if you're excited to hear about this episode, well, let's get into it. But also, quick note, if you're new here, don't forget to go into the show notes after. Make sure you follow me over on Instagram, because that is where I will be sharing more daily things as I go through this identity work. So hopefully you can resonate or have some takeaways from there too. If you don't follow me already, make sure you head on over either now or post episode so you can check out my Instagram page. And it would mean the world to me if you enjoy this episode or previous episodes and you want to hear more from me, make sure that you subscribe and follow me along so that the algorithm brings you back and you can see when the next episode launches. Also, if you gave me a 5-star review, that would truly mean the world, as it's going to help push my new hobby in a better direction. Because the more action that you take on my page, whether it's comments, stars, reviews, whatever, it really does help me. So I appreciate it. And with that said, let's actually get into today's episode. Okay. So, yes, we are talking about being in between the two identities and being caught in between those two identities. That is the ego death. In a way, you are in the middle of it, because you're not just going to decide to have this new identity, to do these new things, to have these new habits, and just wake up one day and magically it happens. Like, that's kind of an anomaly. If you've ever tried to get new habits or kill off old habits, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that just happens overnight, the drop of a hat. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes showing up even on the hard days. Or if you fall off, if you fall back to your old habits, you have to then remind yourself where you're going and be like, no, I am killing off that old identity. I am having the ego death. Those habits don't serve me anymore. These are the new habits I'm taking. And it's this back and forth. Sometimes it takes work. And as you work through this, as you start showing up more and more with this new identity, this new self, that is what is helping you kill off that old version of you. That is helping the ego death. And as you start paying attention and catching yourself, you're like, I did this the other day. I was doing my budget and I was like, wait, why am I doing my budget the way that I always used to do my budget? I always said I wanted to do it a different way. I want to work kind of backwards. I feel like I should just make a YouTube video about this. Um, I stocked my accounts and I'm taking money out of my accounts instead of trying to build up an account every paycheck. So I'm kind of working backwards from what I used to. I don't want to explain it too much. The point that I'm trying to get at is I caught myself. I was like doing a budget for a new month and I said, whoa, 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 hold on. That's the old me. I know how I want to do things with my budget now. I don't want to be picking away every paycheck trying to put money into an account to build that account up. I want to go the opposite. I want to have that account built up, and when I take money out, I just replenish it and some. So I'm always getting overflow in that account, if that makes sense. And I caught myself in the middle of it. I said, what am I doing? So I'm reframing my budget. That is me now embodying the new identity. That is proving to myself, to my subconscious, to my brain that I am actually showing up as the new version of myself. I'm killing off the old identity. I'm having the ego death right now, little by little, as I do small things in new ways and recognizing that I'm doing it and going, oh, the old me has died now in that area of life. Even if it's showing up for my content, I kept trying to do content the same way for years because I took a social media course, and it's like, this is what you do and you create these content pillars, and that didn't work for me. I tried to restart showing up on social media and showing up in that old way, the old habit, the old beliefs. And I got sick and it backtracked me. And I said, whoa, 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 again, pump the brakes. I'm literally just trying to do things the same way I've always done it, expecting different results. That's the old me. How do I reframe that and shift into the new me? This is why this podcast is all about rewiring your life. It's rewiring how you do things, little things here and there. It's not just rewiring your brain, it's rewiring your habits, rewiring your pathways, because all those old habits, that was a different pathway that the old me would have taken. And as I slowly start doing things in the new way, well, this is proof of the new identity. It's proof of the ego death. I am in the middle of it because I still see some of those old habits show up, and I still have to catch them or catch myself. And if those old habits and old ways continue for a longer period of time, the more I catch it and the more I shift it, then I can continue to kill off that old self. So when does the ego death actually come to fruition? Because sometimes you might hear people say, oh, I had like a spiritual awakening and then I killed off the old me. And how do you know when you've actually crossed that threshold? Is it a feeling? Is it a way that you show up every single day? Like, what is it? That is an honest question, because that is something I feel I'm still kind of working through and struggling with. Is it's like, am I always in the ego death? Am I always like every week, every month showing up, being a different new version of me? Or is there like a point of completion? There isn't. We're always growing in life. We're always doing things in new ways and essentially rewiring our neural pathways to take the things from our past that we love about ourselves, keep those, transition those into our new life. And because every day, every week, it's a new life. Do you always want to improve in every area of life? Probably not. There's a lot of things from my past that I love about me and my personality that, yeah, I want to carry those into my future. I want to hold on to those things. But there's some things I want to let go of. And as I go on, maybe these things that I started doing in the new me, I'm not going to enjoy them as much, and I'm going to kill them off and I'm going to welcome in the new. This is just life. So is there really a point, like an end point to the ego death? I'm not quite sure. I don't think so. My brain kind of stopped on that one. I actually had to think there. It's like, yeah, there is a desired outcome. And maybe for this quarter or month or this year, it's going to be like the ego death is once I kill off these old habits that, oh, there we go. That's what it is. It's the old habits that you're constantly overthinking. That's when the ego death like happens, right? It's you've been thinking about something. This is one of my favorites. Buckle up, write this one down, take notes on it, and then sit and journal on it afterwards. Okay. This is going to be a tangible takeaway for you. There is something on your mind that you're thinking about that you want to either do or stop doing. And it's been on your mind for a while. That is the biggest shift in ego death that you need to focus on. Where is it in your life that you've been overthinking or overthinking? Like what thing in your life have you been overthinking, or something keeps coming up, like a feeling keeps coming up of like, oh, I should do this, or I don't like how I do this, and it's repeating itself quite a bit. It's not like, oh, just a few days. It's like probably a few months, a few weeks, maybe a few years. And you're like, damn, would I just do that thing already? Or can I just switch this habit already? That's your focus point. I know what mine is. Mine has been shifting from my old habits of how I show up for myself, show up for my business. Because for the longest time, in the last episode, I touched on this quite a bit. So if you haven't watched it or listened to it, go back to that one. But it's like I've always been showing up with this scarcity mindset and this like hustle, go getter, gotta like do, I have to do these things because it's like protection almost. If I do these things, then I'm going to be safe. Because for the longest time, I had to force and hustle and push myself to get out of my old life, to keep a roof over my head, to keep my bills paid. And now that identity, some of those old habits are still carrying into my life today. And those are what I want to kill off, because I have recognized that I am safe now. I am secure now. I am in motherhood and I want to be a present mother. I don't want to have to do all these things. And when I force myself to show up for building a business and this and that, because there's, again, this old habit, I can feel it. Like even as I talk about it, I feel this, I have to go to work. I have to do these things. I have to work really, really hard to get anywhere in life. I had that drilled into my brain as a kid. Like you have to work hard. So talking about slowing down and just being a calm, present mom, that's actually scary. I feel it. And I've been doing a lot of self-conscious work, like affirmations and tapping and waking up and doing yoga in the morning and praying in the morning and leaning into my faith in the morning and leaning into having breakfast with my kids in the morning calmly, because it's been 5 years of me being a stay-at-home mom. I don't have to get up and throw on makeup and rush out the door and grab breakfast on the go anymore. Do you hear what I'm trying to say here? Like I used to have to rush and force my life, and I always slept in, and that's not my life anymore. That was 7 years ago. 7 years ago, when the pandemic happened, that my life kind of shut down from that world. You would think that all those habits and that feeling of rushing and forcing life, that it would have died then. I've been on a journey, guys. Now I have a 1-year-old and all I want is to be present with my babies. But my habits of how I show up for my life are still acting like as if I was 5 to 7 years ago. I wake up feeling rushed, anxious, endless task lists. That is the ego death I'm working on. And I feel like I'm doing a damn good job of it, because after 5 to 7 years, I'm really starting to bring light to it. I'm talking about it more to my friends, to my family, and now to my podcast. I can see that that isn't serving me. And that's where I'm in this big identity shift. That's where I'm in this ego death right now for myself, is I desire to show up with more peace and more presence. And yes, I still want to do some of these things, but I want to do it in a different way and in a different energy. And every time I lean into doing something in a new way or energy, that is killing off that old, like, frantic habit. In a way, people are going to call this nervous system regulation, but I'm calling it a gigantic ego death, where I am learning to regulate my nervous system, I'm okay. I'm safe. Showing up like this is safe. It's not scary. I don't have to show up as a podcast. I don't have to show up and build an online business. I don't have to. I don't need to. I want to. And therefore, I'm going to start showing up for it differently, because that rushing hustle mindset, that feeling that is so ingrained in me after years. Like we're talking, I started work at 14 years old, 13. I started doing the paper at 13 years old. And then I got pregnant when I was 28. So for that long, I was running multiple jobs, running multiple businesses, doing things, anything, running from my life, hustling so I could avoid my life because I didn't like life at the time. And now, for the last 5 years, I've still been kind of doing that. I'm like, okay, wake up, get into my computer, or wake up and do the dishes and focus on my house. Because if my house is clean, then I'm going to feel better. Or I need to do things. Oh, I can't just sit down with my kids and play and have fun. I have all this other stuff to do first. No, that's the old habit. That's the old identity. That's what I'm currently killing off. And I think I'm doing a good job of it. I really do. This last few weeks has been so interesting because I'm talking about this, right? And I am bringing so much more awareness to that old identity and how it shows up in my life today, and really trying to no, wake up in the morning and I have to calmly talk myself down of, you think that you have to do all these things in the morning before I can take care of myself, before I can do my hair care, my skincare, my yoga, my enjoy breakfast with the kids. I'm bringing light to that and I'm telling myself no in a very, I want to say, polite way. Like, you don't want to just wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and go, no, bitch, we're not acting like that today. You're going to fucking show up as the new you. Da da da. Sorry. I try not to drop F bombs on here, but that one just kind of came out. You might be that way. Maybe you're that way. I am not a wake up and look, what do you call that? Like, if you're into sports and you need like a really hard coach, I sometimes can handle a hard coach, but I'm more of I still feel you need to speak to your old self and your subconscious with a little bit more grace. It's like, I understand that we were acting this way and showing up this way for so long because it was security. It was like, that was your safety net for so long. And then maybe you got comfortable in life and now your comfort zone is like where you kind of want to be. And so you don't really want to push for the new thing, because when you push for the new thing, you're pushing yourself in the old way. And anyways, I'm going in a circle here. You get the gist. I have to be a little bit calm to myself in the morning and go, no, it's, I'm safe and I can show up as the new me. And the more I wake up and show up as the new me, the more I get to gently kill off my old self. Okay, on that note, I'm just going to throw this out there too. Your old self, your old habits, it doesn't die off quietly, okay? It sometimes there's a lot of fighting back with the overthinking, with the hesitations, with the resistance, and it's how are you going to work through that I will share more and more about that as I go. Maybe I'll share more about that kind of stuff over on my Instagram. I don't know. We'll see. If you don't follow me, make sure you follow me. I will link my Instagram down in the show notes, or it's Carissa Lee, ITS Carissa Lee. And I have been going through this a lot. I feel like I've been on this ego death and identity shift for a while now. And when I say a while now, I mean like about a year. I started having a lot of awareness while I was still pregnant. And I was like, I really don't want to have this hustle mentality with my daughter as I did with my son. Like, there's almost 5 years between them. And I felt with him, I very much jumped right back into the hustle culture as being a new mom. And that's another thing I kind of want to shift. So that might be another whole episode in itself where I want to lean more into the motherhood, right? And show up as this new way, and that fight back, it comes a lot. I've been working on it for over a year now. I've recognized all these things and I'm working on the shifts, and something happens and then you fall back, or a lot of resistance happens and you're like, maybe I don't do it. And then you question yourself, why do I even bother? See, all these episodes are tying together. It's beautiful. Why am I bothering to continue when all these setbacks keep happening? Well, it's because you do desire that new identity. You do want the ego death, but the ego death, again, doesn't just happen. You have to work through it not dying off quickly and quietly. It's going to take work. That's why you listen to podcasts like this. I listen to so many podcasts. If I didn't find all the people I found on podcasts to help me through my times of identity work, then I would not be here right now creating my own podcast. So if you're enjoying this, make sure you follow along. There will be a lot more. And, on the other side of it, well, what does the new version of me look like? I'm going to start showing up anyways, more and more, not falling off for a couple weeks. It's me, if I fall off for a day, I get back on the next day. I'm reframing how I do things so that it's easier, so that it's more fun. And then it makes it easier to show back up as the new me. And the more you show up as that new you, the things you see, the things you desire, the way you want to do things, you're going to be less in your head. You're going to stop overthinking of I want to shift how I do things, because you have shifted how you do things. And you know what? Leading back to what I said earlier, just in this episode, that's how you know when you're on the other side of the ego death, I believe, right? That's it. It's when you stop overthinking so much, when you're more present in your life, because you're not sitting in that waiting ground of, oh, but I really still want these new ways of doing things. I don't want to do these things anymore. When you're not thinking about that all the time and overthinking all these things you want to do or need to do, and you're just being more present in your life, that's when you're in the new identity. Because the new you and the new me, because I've seen it, I feel lighter. I feel more radiant, and I feel like I'm not constantly thinking about this life I want to live, because I'm actually in it. Until the next time something shows up and it's like, okay, let's go through this again. Welcome to life. Life is fun. It's a journey. We're going through it together, not alone. And on that journey, somewhere along the lines, you're going to stop this stop start pattern. I've been in a stop start pattern for a bit, or like I've done it. You start working towards this new self, you stop, you fall back. One day that quantum leap will hold, and the forward motion will continue, and that new identity will stick and hold, and then you'll be again on the other side of things. And if you feel this, if you resonate with this, again, make sure you follow along. Save this episode if something resonated with you. Go back and take notes if you are listening to this on the go and you were like, oh, that's a good idea. I take a lot of notes when I listen to podcast episodes. So I hope that, this inspires you to take notes and work through some things. And then maybe you can start rewiring your life too and become your most radiant self. Right? That's what excites me about all this, sharing all this. I really, really hope that I can help some people out there with exactly that, as I feel, honestly, I struggled with it for a long time. And yeah, as I said before, it takes work, but your guidance, or my guidance, has always been in podcasts and finding people that I resonate through, that show me that it is possible, because it is possible. And when you feel like you've fallen off track, sometimes it is hard to bring yourself back on. But one of the things that always brings me back is listening to inspiring words through other women that have been through the same thing and are also going on their journeys. Because when we're going on these journeys together, we bounce off of each other. I'm going to end this episode on a small note of energy. I always say energy is everything. And whenever I was struggling, especially with deep in those old habits of the anxious, nervous Carissa, who did a lot of these things, and a lot of these habits came from me just not liking my life and trying to put on masks and hide from life. I was in this really negative energy, and that negative energy kind of stuck a little bit. I'm using all these tools, like nervous system regulation tools, or just tools in general, podcasts, tapping. One of my favorites is positive affirmations, and I'm starting to lean more into prayer and my faith. Those things are different energy, and sometimes when you don't have that energy around you, you find it in other people, you find it in other rooms, and sometimes it's hard to go out and find those people to put yourself in those rooms. But I'm going to let you know right now, when you listen to podcasts like this, that is you putting yourself in the room, and that is putting yourself in a new energy. So if you feel stuck and in an old energy, and you're questioning, how do I put myself into a new energy and create that inspiration and motivation within myself to continue down this journey that I see is available to me, because you see that new identity and you want the ego death, but you don't know where to start, find your people through podcasts. plug something into your ears that's going to put you into that new energy, that's going to re-inspire you and help you when you don't know how to get back up on the horse again, or like just shift to that new path, because you keep ending up on that old path and you're like, okay, but I want the new one. How do I get there? You can find it through following people on social media, following podcasts, finding books. Sometimes a good book is a thing, but a book you're like, yeah, you can read and get takeaways from it. But I find when you have it plugged into your ears and you're listening to it, it's just a bit more like pep talky and motivational, and it just like can really give you that oomph of energy that you might need to push yourself forward in the direction of life that you really desire to take, because you know it's there, you see it, you're like, oh, but that new identity, how do I work through killing off the old me so I can get to that new identity? Well, now you know through this episode. And if you needed to hear this today, make sure that you save it so you can come back to it later, or share it if that resonates with you too. Share it over on your Instagram and tag me. I would love to see who's listening. And then maybe I can connect to you too, make some more acquaintances and friends who are on the same path as me, because this is like something I'm really finding is the most fun part about creating a podcast and being online more, is I'm actually finding so many people who are literally like on the same journey as me. Whereas before I actually felt kind of alone. I felt very alone for a lot of my life. And little things like this help me feel less alone. So maybe I hope it helps you feel a little less alone too, and that it helps you on your journey. Okay. Yeah. Let's go on this journey together. And I'm all hyped up on energy drinks and excitement from doing podcast stuff today. So, on that note, have a fabulous day. I love you. Good luck with everything in your life, and you will see me in the next episode. Bye.